going to share with you about table of specifications and then how do we make TOS. Okay, so TOS is defined as a test blueprint that is prepared by the teacher to serve as the basis for the test construction, and it is specifically used in making a summative or a periodical test. So the TOS, or the table of specifications, it is a tool that is used to ensure that the test or an assessment measures the content and the thinking skills that the test intends to measure. So I have here the formats in making the TOS. And by the way, I am using the revised Bloom's Taxonomy of Education in measuring the learner's learning ability. Now let's go to the process in making the TOS, or the table of specifications. First, let us familiarize the different parts or components that is in the TOS. Okay, as we can see in the first column, there's the competency. Some TOS have that as subjects or topics or the objectives, and then the next column we have here the number of meetings, which is the number of hours wherein you've discussed that particular subject, the topic, or that particular objective. The next is the percentage, which is 100%, and then the number of items. Okay, it depends on you and as to how many items you plan to make a test. Okay, it may be 50, 30, it's on you. Okay, and then we have here the levels of a test, wherein there is an easy one, and then the average one, and then the difficult ones. Okay, for the easy, we have 70% of the questions in your test should be easy, and then for the average, it includes the 20% of your test items, and then for the difficult, it must have at least 10%. Okay, so in the easy, it falls the two levels of Bloom's taxonomy, which is the remembering and understanding. And then for the average, we have the applying and then the analyzing. And then for the difficult one, we have the evaluating and then the creating. Okay, again, I am using the revised Bloom's taxonomy of education. Okay, then for the last one, we have the placement of items. Okay, you just have to place the number of items and as to where did you put that particular question in that particular objective. Okay, so now let's go to the process on how I was able to get the percentage, the number of items, and then the number of test items that will be put in the levels of difficulty of a test, and then in the placement of items. Okay, so now let's go on to the process in getting the percentage. But before that, you have to make sure that you've filled in the first two columns, which is the competency and then the number of meetings. For the competency or the objectives that you've discussed, okay, I have here 5 objectives, and then the number of meetings or the number of hours that I've discussed that particular objective. Okay, and then we have a total of 11 hours or the 11 meetings that I've discussed that 5 objectives. Now to get the percentage, you just have to divide each number of meetings to the total number of meetings. So our total number of meetings is 11, and then we have here the number of meetings. So we have 3 divided by 11, it is 0.27. When we convert that to percentage, it should be 27%. We have to move 2 decimal places to the right. And then we have 2 divided by 11, which is 0.18 or 18%. And then 1 divided by 11, which is 0.9 hundredths or 9%. And then we have 2 divided by 11, which is 0.18, so 18%. And then 3 divided by 11, which is 0.27 or 27%. Okay, so as you can see, I've changed the first one to 28% because I have to come up with a total of 100%. So if I'm just going to use the 27% and then sum it all up to the other percentage, it's just going to be 99%. So 1% is missing. So I have to add 1% to any of the objectives. So I prepare the first one since I've used 3 hours to discuss for that lesson. Now let's go to the process on how to get the number of items in each competency. Okay, since we've got the percentage, we've discussed that already. Okay, you need to have the total number of items that is your goal in your test. It may be 50, 35, 45, 70, 100. It's up on you. Okay, so the process is that you just have to multiply the total number of items to each percentage in each competency. Okay, you have to multiply the total number of items. So I have here 20. So 20 times 0.28, I have 5.6. And then 20 times 0.810, we have 3.6. And then 20 times 0.900, okay, so it is 1.8. And then 20 times 0.810, it is 3.6. And then 20 times 0.27, it is 5.4. Okay, then we need to round it off the decimal point. So for the first one, we have 5.6. So I need 6 items for this one. And then 3.6, so 4 items. 1.8, so I need 2 items. And then for 3.6, I didn't round it off because I'll get a total number of 21. My goal only is 20 for this test. And then for the next one, last one, we have 5.425. So 6 plus 4 plus 2 and plus 3 and then plus 5 is 20. Okay, since now that we're able to get the percentage and then the number of items, what we need now to consider is the level of the difficulty of a test item, wherein we have the since we have a 20 item type of test, 70%, at least 70% of this test items should be easy, and then 20% should be average, and then the 10% should be difficult. Okay, to get the items in each level in Bloom's taxonomy, okay, you just have to multiply the total number of items, which is 20, to each percentage here. Okay, so since we have 70% for easy type of test, so 20 items times 0.70, okay, we convert that to decimal form. Okay, so we need at least 14 items for the easy category, and then for the average, we need at least 4 items. Okay, and then for the difficult, we need to have at least 2 items. So 14 plus 4 and then plus 2 is a total of 20 items. Okay, since for the first competency, I need at least 6 items, so I decided to put 4 for the easy ones, and then 1 for the average, and then 1 for the difficult one. Okay, it falls under, for the easy one, it falls under remembering, and then 3 items for understanding, 1 for applying in the average one, and then 1 for evaluating. Okay, for the second, I need at least 4 items, so I decided to put 2 items under understanding and then 2 items under applying. And then for the third competency, I need at least 2 items, so I decided to put the 2 items under understanding. And then for the fourth competency, I need at least 3 items, so I decided to put that so in 1 for remembering, and then 2 for understanding. And then for the fifth competency, I need at least 5 items, so I put 2 items for remembering, and then 1 item for understanding. And then for the average, I put 1 item for applying, and then 1 for evaluating for the difficult one. So if we're going to add the total number of items that we have here in the easy, average, and difficult one, okay, for the easy I have here 14 items, and then for the average I have 4, and then for the difficult one I have 2. Okay, next is the placement of item. It is definitely up to you as to where would you put that particular question in that particular objective. Okay, so that depends on you. Okay, so I have here the TOS. So this is the much simpler version of the TOS. It's just the same process. We've just erased the percentage and then the number of meetings and then the total there. Okay, and then some just make that their CUS just like this. They just put there the total number of items, which is 45, and they just get the 70% of 45, the 20% of 45, and then the 10% of 45 item test. And then they proceed to the placement of items. Okay, so that's all, and then I hope that you've learned something.